Hey guys, TSL here, back with a brand new video. In today's video, we'll finally be continuing the dungeon series after 2 months, I think it was, since the last part. Very sorry about that. I've just been, I've been doing a lot of things recently. Running 2 YouTube channels, still trying to post on both. And yeah, that's no excuse, guys. I will try to be more consistent. I'll try to post like one of these and one of the SPTS videos at least once a month. If I can get out another one, then, well, that'll be great. But videos are always going to be on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern if they do come out. I will also try to announce every video on the community tab when it comes out, so you guys know if you should be waiting for its arrival. Anyways, let's get into the video. So today we want to actually start making some of the weapons for our game. So we're gonna start off with just a simple sword. So because I'm lazy and suck at modeling, I'm just gonna go to the toolbox and I'm gonna search for sword and spell it right. So we're just gonna grab this one by Roblox. That's fine. Do not put this in starter tools yet. Let's just have it here in the workspace. We'll get rid of that, we'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of this stuff. Basically the only thing we want is this handle mesh, and we don't need the thumbnail camera. So now we basically just have this plain model of our sword inside of a tool class. Make sure that this is inside of a tool class, and you have a part called handle. It's spelled exactly like this. Or if you don't have a part called handle, then you have to go into the tool properties and click requires handle off. Okay, so anyways, let's actually get started with this. So I'm thinking we're going to have a module script that will handle all of our weapons. I think it'll just be the easiest and cleanest. So we're going to go into our server storage and our modules, and we want to insert a module script. We'll call this our weapons module. We're probably going to have one on the client as well, but let's see. We'll just have weapons module and weapons module. So the first thing we're going to do is see how we want to go about this. So basically you're going to have we're going to make all that stuff where you have we'll call them attributes, where you can upgrade your health, physicals, or damage stuff, and your I guess your stamina. I don't remember what the third thing is. I'll play a dungeon game and look at that after, but we're gonna have those type of things. So basically we're thinking that the damage of the weapon, right, the weapon damage is gonna be equal to something like the amount of attribute upgrades and I guess we can multiply that by 1.5, and the base damage of the sword, right? And here we'll just do weapon damage, or weapon base damage, and we can multiply that by also 1.5. And then the last thing we'll do is I think that's actually it. If we ever want different items, if we want a torso chest plate thing, actually no, those do add damage, right? So then we'll do armor damage, and we're just gonna multiply that by 1.5 as well. So it's basically gonna look like that, right? So basically what we need to do is get a way to actually get all of these items from our player. So we'll have function weapons module dot calculate damage, and we'll take in a player. Alright, so basically here what we're gonna do is we want to look through our stats, right? But right now we don't have any attribute upgrades. We don't have any base. Well, we do have a base damage for our weapon, and we don't have any armor. So right now we'll just do only with the base damage. So basically in here we're gonna have our damage table, and this is basically just going to be a table with the weapons and their, or here we'll have a weapon configurations. And so for the first thing we'll have our classic sword, or I guess we could starter sword. Alright, and then since that's called starter sword, this is also going to have to be called starter sword. And we'll have a damage class of 2, like I said. So basically we're just going to have the damage here, right? So then when we calculate the damage for a certain player, we need to get what weapon they have in their inventory. Currently equipped, that is. So since we don't have an inventory, the backpack will serve as our inventory for now. And yeah. So basically we will just get our player.backpack. So we'll have to say the local. Actually, if it's equipped, then it'll be in the character. Remember, when you have a tool equipped, it's in your character. So we'll need the character from the player. What character is player.character? And if the character is null or nil, then we basically just want to return out of this function. So if the character doesn't exist, like if they're dead, then well, we don't want to let them deal damage when they're dead. So we're gonna add that check to make sure about that. Okay, so next we're gonna have to actually get the tool. So we'll say local tool is going to be equal to character colon find first child, which is a tool. So this will find us the first child that is a tool, and hopefully the only tool that they have in their inventory is going to be this. If we need to change this, once again we'll change it in the future once more things get added. So right now we have our tool found, and with this we want to actually get the damage it does. So we'll say local weapon or base damage, we'll call it, is going to be equal to our weapon configurations and the tool.name. And then we'll have weapon damage is equal to base damage for now, and we'll return our weapon damage. Remember, it's just base damage for now because we don't have the attribute upgrades and like the armor. So we should also multiply this by 2. Or yeah, we'll do the base damage is multiplied by 2. That sounds a bit better. Alright, so basically every time we hit with this sword, since it has 2 damage points, it should do 4 damage to our enemies. Okay. So then inside of our tool, we'll have a local script, I guess, and we'll have this the tool. We'll have this the attack, I guess we'll call it. We can close out the dungeon generator for now, and this local script too. So we're gonna have local players equals game colon get service players. Local player is equal to players.local player. Local tool is equal to script.parent .parent, and we'll say tool.activated colon connect function. We want to fire the remote event to try to damage somebody. So the way we're going to do this is we are going to, first of all, we're going to have a debounce in here. We'll have one the server side too. So debounce is equal to false. If debounce, then, or I guess if not debounce, then debounce equals true. And then else. That's fine. And then at the end we want to task.wait of 1 and debounce is false. Alright, so then in between here we want to actually fire the remote event, so we have to create the remote event. So going into replicated storage, remotes, we will need a folder for our server. And then here we will have our remote event, and this is going to be called attack. So up here we'll have a local rs equals game colon get service replicated storage, and a local remotes equals rs.remotes. Below this we can have a local attack event is equal to remotes dot attack or dot server dot attack. So then in our remotes handler, what we need to do is clean this up a little bit. So first things first, we want to move start game into our server folder. Local server remotes is equal to remotes.server, and then this is going to be equal to server remotes.start game. And if we actually, we don't need this anymore, because what we're going to do here is have local remotes or remote event handlers is equal to, and we'll have a start game. Remember, this has to be the exact name of the remote event and make it equal to a function. Copy this, paste this in here, and now down here to connect everything we need to go server remotes colon get children, say for underscore comma remote in server remotes colon get children do if remote dot name, or actually we'll say if our remote event handlers at our remote dot name. So if we find a remote event handler in here with the name of our remote, then we want to basically just run the function it equals. So if we do this and then these little parentheses to signify calling the function. But actually we are missing one step, and that is to actually say that this is actually supposed to be our remote dot on server event is going to be equal to, and then our remote event handlers. So basically, if our remote event, right, we have our remote event in here called start game, right? This exact same name is this key, which is equal to this function. So when we get this key, so remote.name will be start game at least once, right? So we're getting the start game, which is equal to a function, right? So this is just going to be that function, and our on server event, instead of actually doing equals, we're supposed to do colon connect, and we want to connect it to this. Now this should work, and to make our attack event, all we should have to do is write our attack here equal to function, take in our player, and we'll see if we need to take in anything else. Alright, so as you see here, if we go up here and get our local rs game colon get service replicated storage and our local remotes rs.remotes local server remotes rs.server, or not rs but remotes.server, and then local start, or actually no, we need attack event equals to, actually wait, why are we doing this in here? It's the wrong script. Okay, so then here you see that we have this stuff here and we have our attack event already. So then over here we want to say our attack event colon fire server, and I think that's actually it. We'll have to, once we add like powers and stuff, we might have to change some stuff, but once again, that's something we'll do later. So in our attack script, we want to get the weapon that our player used, right? So say our local weapon, or first we need our character. So local character is equal to player.character. Once again, if we do not find the character, then we just want to restart or just exit this. So then here we should just get our weapon, which once again will be equal to character colon. Actually, I don't think we need this. What am I doing? Actually, yeah, we will. So find first child, which is a tool. And then if we go up here and we get another module script, and this one is going to be our weapons handler, modules.weapons module. Here we'll say, what do we need? Weapons module.calculate damage. So our weapons handler dot calculate damage, and we'll set our local damage equal to this, and we can pass in the player. Or something even easier that we can do is remove this, all of this stuff, take in just our tool. Then over here we will just pass in our weapon. So if we print out our damage, then yeah, let's see what it prints out. So let's go ahead and press play, and it's actually going to do nothing right now because we forgot to move our little sword back into starter pack. So click play. Start game is not a valid member of replicated storage.remotes. So I made one mistake in our remotes handler script, and this should be server remotes colon get server, which it is. Wait, so start game, where's that? This is, oh, okay, so we forgot, in a different script we forgot to change it. So go to our HUD start frame start button local script and our local server events. I don't think we need client events, right? No, so we could just change this to server and server, and then this. Alright, now everything should be good. Alright, so we have no errors right now. We have our sword in our starter pack, we equip it, and when we click we get some errors. Attempt to perform arithmetic mole on table and number. So basically it's saying that our base damage is it's a table because we forgot to get our damage attribute, because you see here we have it called damage and we did not take that from it. This is just the tool solely. So this should be this. And yeah, this is fine. So once again we test it and we don't have any errors right now. Open our sword and we click, and you see we have 4 damage with it, which is actually correct. So once again, if you don't remember, it's because we are only multiplying it by 2 because we don't have any attribute upgrades or any armor damage, and our starter sword damage is just 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and that's why we're getting this weapon damage. Alright, so we want to actually detect if we hit something, right? Okay, so basically we're going to be using a module, I think it's called like Raycast Hitbox or something like that. Here it is, Raycast Hitbox V4 by Team Swordfin. So you're going to want to download this, and I'll link it in the description. It is completely free. So get that, and then go here, and we're going to go to our toolbox, My Models, insert this, and we are going to move this to our server storage modules. Now go into our remotes handler, and we are going to require the script. We'll call it Raycast Hitbox and Raycast Hitbox V4. Alright, so basically the way this thing works, let's bring our sword back into the workspace, you need some, that's not what I meant to do, the parent, you need some damage points, right? So if we go into our starter sword into the handle, we're going to need to insert some attachments. Alright, so our first damage point is obviously going to be on the tip of the blade, and then we'll have one in the center and on the bottom. We're going to name all three of these to damage point, just like that. Now back to our remotes handler, we're going to say our local hitbox is going to be equal to our weapon.handle, right? And we want to actually, first let's do this. We'll do raycast hitbox.new, and our weapon.handle goes in here. Then we wanted to say hitbox colon hit start, and this should start firing the raycasts. Now in between this, we're going to want to say hitbox.hit colon connect, or sorry, this should be on hit, and then function. This will take in a hit and a humanoid. If we print both of these, and then if we test the game, when we print the hit, well, we should, if we're doing a wall, then we should, if we hit a wall when we test this, then we should get the hit to print out the wall. And if the humanoid, right, let's say that we were to hit a like a mob or another person, it would print, the humanoid will be that mob or that person / player's actual humanoid object already. Alright, so if we click, then you see we have a raycast v4, 3 attachments found in object handle. So that is not exactly what we were expecting, is it? Also, you see these red lines, that's just from the raycasting. Okay, let's actually try this on an actual mob. So if we go ahead and click start in game 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have our ice gun over here, and if we click, alright, you see it has head and humanoid. So the thing is, it has to actually like hit in these lines, right? Which is fine for using like a melee when attacking players, right? But the problem then is with the wall is like, it just doesn't do that. But yeah, it works perfectly good for melee weapons. Okay, so let's make it do some damage, should we? So back in here, all we should have to do is humanoid colon take damage, and the damage that we got from our module earlier. So now we should do 2 damage every time that we hit a mob. And as you see, some damage is being done indeed. It's obviously going to take a while since they have 100 health and I am doing 2 damage to each of them. And there is a cooldown in between, so I just can't keep spamming them too. They are very slow walking towards me, but they are doing it nonetheless. And yeah, this is great. So as you see, well, the thing is like constantly doing the hit start, so we will want to stop it at some times. So basically every time we fire this, we probably don't want to make a new hitbox every time. Or actually, we don't want to call this hit start every time. And we should also probably disconnect this. So there is a, well actually, that's all we can basically just task.spawn, or actually we could do task.delay function, and what we can do is then just hitbox colon hit stop, I believe it is, and we can make this our local connection, and we'll say connection colon disconnect, and then the duration has to go first, and this will wait like half a second. So now this should be fine, and it should still work the same way. You shouldn't actually see a difference as to what was happening before. Just know that it's better. So instead of creating like a new hit start thing and new on hit connection every time, we'll actually get rid of the old one so that we won't just like keep storing them forever in our memory. So as you see, everything still works the same. If we ever do need to tweak this in the future, it should be pretty easy. But yeah, credits to I forgot his name, but credits to you. I'll put a picture of his profile on the screen for making the Hitbox, or the Raycast Hitbox module, so that just made our life a lot easier. As you see, I'm not getting damaged by these guys, and well, that is probably the easiest thing to do. We'll do that super quickly at the beginning of next video, just basically with a touch event. And yeah, so anyways guys, that is it for today's video, and if you did enjoy it and it helped you out, please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I will try to post these more often. In the summer, I should be able to get more uploads out, but like I said, I also have another channel I'm working on. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you check out some of my other videos, and see ya.